Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York. New York Times World News.
November 25, 5:14 America, New York. He pointed out a judge's goof. Now, he faces jail time in Fiji. A lawyer who made light of a legal documents error was convicted of contempt of court, in a sign of the island nation's eroding civil liberties. A crossing in Suva, Fiji capital, last year.
Wall Street Journal World News.
November 25, 5:13 America, New York. China's Xinjiang region has been locked down for months, casting shadow over zero-COVID easing. Local governments in the region have described the lockdowns as temporary and targeted, but accounts from residents and travelers suggest they have been widespread.
Washington Post World.
November 25, 5:06 America, New York. Far-right Ben-Gvir to be Israel's national security minister. Extremist politician Itamar Ben-Gvir will become Israel's next minister of national security.
Wall Street Journal World News.
November 25, 5:02 America, New York. Russia expands shelling of Kherson, as power shortages drag on in Kyiv. Russian forces stepped up their shelling of the southern Ukrainian city of Kherson, killing 7 people and injuring at least 21 others, according to local officials.
New York Times World News.
November 25, 5 o'clock America, New York. An Israeli schoolboy died in the West Bank. To find his body, foes joined forces. After Palestinian gunmen refused to hand over a dead Israeli teenager on Tuesday, officials on both sides of the conflict worked together to recover his abducted body. Members of the Israeli Druze community carrying the coffin of Tehran Pharaoh, a schoolboy whose body had been seized by Palestinian militants, during his funeral in Israel, on Thursday.
Washington Post World.
November 25, 4:30 America, New York. China sentences Chinese-Canadian star Chris Wu to 13 years. A court in Beijing has sentenced Chinese-Canadian pop star Chris Wu to 13 years in prison on charges including rape.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
November 25, 4:08 America, New York. Boy bitten and dragged into swimming pool by 10-feet python in Australia. A 5-year-old boy in Australia has survived being bitten and crushed by a python the length of a car that dragged him into a swimming pool. Python.
RT World News. November 25, 3:36 America, New York. NATO allies embroiled in nuclear dispute, The Times. Belgium has reportedly refused to supply the UK with a crucial component needed to maintain its nuclear arsenal. RT World News.
November 25, 3:27 America, New York. Saudi Arabia hit by flash floods, videos. Torrential rain resulted in 2 deaths and traffic disruptions in Jeddah. 2 people were killed after unusually heavy rain caused major flooding in the Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah on Thursday, the local authorities have said.
Mirror World News.
November 25, 3:24 America, New York. Boy, 5, thought he would die when bitten by 9-foot python and dragged into pool by snake. Bo Blake, 5, was out playing with his brother beside the pool in the garden of his family's home in Byron Bay, Australia when the enormous 9-foot python struck.
Fox World News.
November 25, 3:19 America, New York. Ukraine capital in survival mode following latest Russian missile barrage. Residents without water, power. Most of the residents in Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities are without power and drinkable water following Russia's latest overnight missile attack on electrical infrastructure.
New York Times World News.
November 25, 3 o'clock America, New York. Qataris say criticism of country amid World Cup is rooted in stereotypes. Many in the country say the barrage of criticism about its human rights record and the exploitation of migrant workers is laced with discrimination and hypocrisy. The skyline of Doha, the capital of Qatar, on Monday.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
November 25, 1:35 America, New York. FIFA to allow rainbow hats and flags at World Cup stadiums in U-turn. FIFA has confirmed fans will be allowed to wear rainbow bucket hats and take rainbow flags into the stadium for Wales's match against Iran this morning, after they were confiscated ahead of the side's 1-1 draw with the USA earlier this week. Rainbow hat.
Mirror World News.
November 25, 1:07 America, New York. China records highest number of daily COVID cases since start of pandemic. China has recorded a new daily record of COVID cases since the start of the pandemic as the country continues to stick to its strict, zero-COVID, lockdown strategy.
BBC News World.
November 25, 053 America New York. Toya Cottingley. Man arrested in India over Australia beach murder. Rajwinder Singh is suspected of murdering Toya Cottingley, found dead in Queensland in 2018.
Wall Street Journal World News.
November 25, 043 America New York. Cardinal Joseph Zen convicted by Hong Kong court in crackdown on dissent. The 90-year-old veteran democracy activist and 5 others were found guilty of failing to register a fund providing aid to anti-government protesters.
BBC News World.
November 25, 038 America New York. Scott Morrison. Report Savage's former Australian PM over secret roles. Justice Virginia Bell said the appointments had little if any connection to the pandemic.
Mirror World News.
November 25, 035 America New York. Sacked man wins right to be boring after not taking part in after-work drinks. A man has won a legal case in France to be boring after he was sacked for not getting involved in team-building activities with colleagues that often involved excessive drinking.
BBC News World.
November 24, 2333 America New York, Australia. 5-year-old rescued from python by dad and elderly granddad. The naughty python bit the 5-year-old before dragging him into a swimming pool in his home.